Hi guys, Chris here from Republic Racing in Ireland. Today I'm going to be giving you a walk around and spec list video of my own K24 track car EG Saloon and a rough guide to prices on how much the KSWAP cost, how much some other stuff costs around the car, down to the bride seats, the brake setup, tyres, wheels, gearbox, engine and everything that went with the KSWAP itself. First of all, for the purists, the car is not an EG9 SIR. It's actually an EG8, was a 1.5 auto, starting out life. Has been in the past converted to a B16, now running a K24A Japanese engine, or for the American viewers, JDM. JDM K24A. The only thing I've added to the car is a Mugen lip. It's a plastic replica, it's not a genuine lip. I don't want to smash a genuine lip up on a track. It has basically everything on the car off an EG9 itself, right down to the quarter panel aerial, Japanese recess, like the boot lid, Jap bumpers, skirts, even down to the kind of the Ferio badges on the back, garnishes on the back windows, JDM EG9 wind deflectors all around. Fairly simple setup wheel-wise, 15x7 raised TE37s. Front tyres are a Advan A052, rear tyres are 195 Nankang AR1. The fronts are 205s, rears are 195s. So brake setup, on the fronts I'm actually running an Accord Type R twin pot caliper with PBS Pro Race pads, M-Tech slotted discs, braided Hell lines, HEL or Goodridge, I don't know which one it was, Goodridge or HEL. Rear setup, the rear setup is just a standard SIR, EG9 SIR rear brakes, 240 mil, I think they are. EBC yellow stuff pads, standard SIR rear calipers, braided lines, again braided lines in the back and the front. That's pretty much the exterior and the brakes kind of covered. And so on the chassis suspension side of things, I'm running yellow speed coilovers front and rear, Dynamic Pro Sport yellow speeds. I have a 3-point brace in the front by Ultra Racing, hard race upper camber arms, standard ball joint, the standard type, not the spherical or ball or pillow ball type. Hard race roll center ball joints, extended ball joints, hard race pillow ball compliance bushes on the rear of the wishbone, a 25mm hard race front anti-roll bar, hard race front drop links, a rear Ultra Racing 2-point brace, a C-pillar brace, an unknown make, I'm not sure what that is, and a 98 spec DC2 rear anti-roll bar, hard race rear camber arms, hard race rear toe links, hard race rear drop links, and I have on the rear trail arms, energy suspension polybushed bushes, skunk 2 lower control arms and an ASR rear subframe brace or rear brace. That's suspension done pretty much it for brakes and suspension stuff. I was on an Advan A052 225 in the front, but because the TE37s are only 15x7, I had quite a bad overhang, so my tyres wore quite fast. I had to switch back to a 205 on the front and a 195 on the rear for now. Interior wise, I'll show you guys now. So, pretty standard enough in terms of, like, it's not stripped out fully. I wanted to keep some sort of creature comforts, like carpet and stuff in the front. We have a Bride Zeta 2 in the front, a Bride Bricks 1.5 for the passenger, old school kind of Momo 320mm steering wheel with an energy snap off, which is a nice piece. I love these snap offs, really, really nice. Okay, there we go. Interior, as for the rest of the interior, so EG9 SIR, big black dash SIR clocks, which are quite rare nowadays, these clocks. EG9 SIR2 door cards front and rear. Some nice kind of OEM extras on this at the moment. I did have a long armrest. I took it out because my elbow kept hitting it from 3rd to 4th on track days. Brown pocket, doubled in, Civic 5-piece mats, front and rear. As you can see, I have a nice circuit here of surround around my hybrid racing shifter, spoon Duracon knob. And in the rear you can kind of see it's stripped out. Just for some small weight advantages, just to get as much weight out of the car as I possibly can. It isn't the prettiest, but it does the job, and yeah. Right, so the one part that everyone probably wants to see in the video is the engine bay, engine specs, KSWAP stuff. As for anyone who wants to KSWAP their EG in the future, I'm going to give a good rundown on prices and what it actually cost me roughly enough to do the swap from start to finish. So as for engine and drivetrain sort of spec, started off with Japanese or JDM K24A, the better 3-lobe VTEC version of the K24. I wanted to keep the car as reliable as I possibly could, so, and as cheap to fix if it broke. So the engine itself is unopened, standard internals, standard pistons, rods, everything like that. I've opted for Skunk 2 drop-in cams, Skunk 2 dual springs and titanium retainers, a Skunk 2 inlet that I've ported myself, hand ported myself, a Skunk 2 Pro Series throttle body 70mm, full 3-inch exhaust, custom made by AD Pipe Fabrication here in Ireland. Adam is a great lad, very good prices and really easy to work with. Full 3-inch from the manifold back. I have a TEGIWA manifold, TEGIWA big tube manifold 4-to-1, and all V-banded the whole way back just for ease of removal. Take the exhaust apart if I want to change something around or put a silencer in for a track decibel meters or decibel limits or whatever for noise limits. A hybrid racing, nice little piece of it. Fuel rail, gauge, BOSCH 550cc injectors. My own DIY heat shield that my dad made for me. Try to keep the intake temps as cool as I can. There's a nice duct at the front here, sucking air from a duct up to the bottom of the airbox to bring cold air through. TEGIWA full length KSWAP radiator. TEGIWA, there's actually a TEGIWA extra clearance rad hose to clear the intake pipe because it was in the way the last time, so I had to get an extra clearance rad pipe for that. ACUITY Hall effect TPS sensor. Cheap engine mounts because they do the same job as a Hasport or any of them. I just wanted to keep costs as much down as I could. So they were about €300, not bad. I am running a power steering setup in this car because I like to have power steering. I have drove a couple of these cars before in the past without power steering, and after 5, 6, 7 laps in our local Mondello International circuit here, the car can be quite a handful. So I'd like to have power steering as a creature comfort again. So the engine spec, other than that, is fairly standard. Like if that engine lets go, I want to be able to replace that cheap. I don't want to have to go and build a K24, K20 Frank, put thousands and thousands of euro into the engine. It blows up on a track day and I'm thousands of euro out of pocket. So these are cheap. This was about €1,350, so €1,350, full engine, long block. For the Americans again, long block. Numbers wise, it made like very surprising numbers for a K24 of the spec of the engine. 282 horsepower, 190 foot-pound of torque. Like it goes like nothing I've drove before, like because of the weight of these cars. There's no weight in these cars, so it's just like they're just a different animal altogether when you put a K-series in them. Yeah, so gearbox wise, I've went with an EP3 6-speed box with a helical differential and a 5.1 final drive out of an FT2 Civic Type R. Flywheel is an RPC lightweight 3.6 kg flywheel, I think they are, and an XED Stage 2 3-puck clutch in it. Goes well. I have some extra bits. I have ACUITY shifter bushes, hybrid racing, detent springs and shifter mechanism springs, and DC5 cables. Feels nice. It's a nice shifter. Goes well. in the future I want to upgrade to a more mechanical type of ACUITY 4-way or a K-tune shifter, V3 or V2, whatever one they have out at the moment, maybe in the future. So basically, anyone who's wondering how much it is to K-swap one of these cars, I've never done this before to any car. I've never K-swapped the car, never put a different engine in a car other than like a B-series or something like that. I've done B-series swaps over the years, but I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown on how much it actually costs to K-swap this car from start to finish. So I'll start with the engine. Engine was €1,350. Gearbox was €1,850. The Skunk 2 inlet itself was about €950. Skunk 2 Pro Series throttle body was €370 or €380. Hybrid fuel rail, you're looking at about €200. BOSCH 550cc injectors, I sourced myself, they were about 350, 340-ish. The likes of the TEGIWA KSWAP radiator, that was 240. The engine mounts 300. Shifter cables, another what, €200. The hybrid racing shifter itself was €500. So you have TEGIWA KSWAP big tube manifold, that was €730. The exhaust itself to get fabricated was €750 as well. I had to supply a back box for the car. I didn't buy a back box, I got that for cheap. If you're looking to K-swap one of these cars, the K24 is the more expensive option to do, simply put to the fact that you can buy like a crashed EP3 or something like that here in Ireland for €2,500, €3,000. Pull the whole engine and gearbox out of that car, buy mounts, ECU, loom and stuff. You already have a loom actually because you have an EP3. You can do it for about 7,000, 8,000. For that, this swap alone itself cost me 15,000, 16,000 euro. That's including mapping, like all the little bits and bobs I had to do. And I went a little bit over the top with the build because I didn't want to have a standard K24A. I wanted to have some punch behind the car when I was driving it. So I wanted to get cams, retainers and springs, full 3-inch exhaust, Skunk 2 inlet, 550cc injectors. I wanted the car to have a little bit of oomph behind it, so I didn't want to just have basically a bog standard 200, 210 horsepower car. That I wanted to kind of push the car as hard as I could, so I kind of spent a bit extra to do it. But for a K24A swap here in Ireland or most places in the world, you're not going to have a lot of change left out of 10, 11,000 euro or whatever it converts to in dollars or pounds in the United Kingdom or whatever it is. You're not going to have a lot of change left out of that amount. Like, it isn't a cheap swap. It was a challenge for me. As I said, I've never done this before. So I done the whole swap myself from start to finish. So the labor end of things, I didn't have to pay any costs for a mechanic or someone to do this sort of stuff for me. I done everything myself from start to finish. No fancy tools, no lifts. You don't need fancy tools or lifts or something like that to do this swap. It's fairly straightforward. A lot of it is just general mechanical knowledge on stuff like that. The wiring end of things is also quite easy as well for those that don't know. It's just a couple of cables to connect on your conversion harness and that's it done. Yeah. And that's it. So that concludes the video today, guys, of my K24 EG Saloon. As you can see here in Ireland, we are not blessed with great weather at all. It has just started pouring rain, so we are now in the garage, out of the rain. I'm going to be putting as many links as I possibly can in the description for parts that I used for the K-swap. If anyone has any questions about the wiring, the fitting of engines, like exhaust setups, cams, stuff like that, or any trouble at all that you have with a K-swap, give me a shout, message me on this Instagram, Facebook page, whatever you want to get me on, give me a shout. Yeah guys, peace.